This is Chris with iPad in Canada. Adobe finally releasing its Photoshop Touch app for the iPad. You can get it right now in the App Store for $9.99. I will point out this is only available for the iPad 2 running iOS 5. Unfortunately, you can't use it with the first generation iPad. Now for $10, you're getting a lot of features that you'll find in the regular Photoshop program that you'd use on your Mac or your PC. You're not getting them all, of course, for only $10, but this is a very powerful app, and I want to show you some of the really cool things that you can do with it. So let's get right into it. There we go. We're going to launch it. Now, when you first launch it, you're going to be asked if you want to go through some of the tutorials. As I mentioned, there are a lot of features here, and they do provide a ton of tutorials on how to use this app properly. I'm just going to go over a couple of the big functions that I believe are some of the best in the app right now. And the first one I'm going to do is you're going to be able to combine pictures. You're going to be able to cut out certain parts of one picture and add them to another one. And you're going to be able to do this with very fine detail. And the second feature I'm going to go over is the camera fill. Now, I'm not 100% sure how often I would use this or someone would use it. It's kind of like a photo booth. It's really fun. You take some pictures, you can cut them out, and then you can use your camera on your tablet and you can insert yourself, or you can insert whatever you're taking a picture of onto those pictures that you already have. And I'll go over that in a little more detail. But first, let's go with combining some pictures. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to, of course, open your pictures. Now from here you can go to your local photos that are on your iPad. You've got your Creative Cloud. I'm not going to really go into all that, but that's just like a cloud storing service from Adobe. You can open up projects in your tablet here, and then you can transfer them over to your regular Photoshop program if you have that. You can go and take a picture. Also, you can go to Google. This is a really cool little feature. If you tap on the Google button, you can search for items. You can search photo, face, clip art. You can search them by color. Say I want an Apple logo that's in red. You can also search them by copyright for all images, only images that are labeled as reuse, that you're allowed to use commercially, or you can reuse with modification. But for this one, we're just going to go back to our local photos. This one I have a Photoshop folder. Now what we're going to want to do first is we're going to want to pick out one of the pictures that we want to use. Like I said, we're going to be combining two here. So my wife and I went on a trip to the Wizarding World of Harry Potter in Orlando, and we have this nice picture here of the castle. Now this is going to open it up. As you can see, it's kind of dark right now. It's kind of a bit of a dull picture. So the first thing you're going to want to do is you have all the basic kind of Photoshop editing stuff you want. You can go up here, you can change your black and white saturation and all that. You can do your levels, your curves. For this one, we're going to go to the brightness and contrast. Now, I had been working on this before, so we're going to reset those. As you can see, we go back to the darker picture. From here, you can take your finger, and it's just a simple slider. Now, it is very sensitive, so you do need to be careful. It is a little bit tricky. Kind of like that, it brightened it up a little bit, but you know, you're losing some of the detail. So let's bring up the contrast a bit. You know, that looks not too bad, so we'll hit apply. So now what I want to do is I want to change some more. I'm going to bring that up, and I'm going to go to the saturation. I want to bring out some of that color that's in there. And as you can see, I already had been messing around with this picture. I kind of like it at 79%, but again, you can use your finger, slide it back and forth, and it gives you a real-time preview. Let's go back to about, let's go with it, 79 again. We'll hit apply. Now for this picture here, you can see there is somebody's head right there. There is this bridge walkway that you go over, and this is where you can get a really good shot of the castle, but there was somebody's head in there. So what I'm going to want to do is I'm going to want to crop that out. And of course, any Photoshop or any photo app is going to include cropping. You go up there, you'll touch the crop button. And now what this does is you can slide this, of course, and it keeps the dimensions of your picture. I should point out, with this app, you're only getting resolution of 1600 by 1600. I wish it was a little bit better for resolution, but 1600 by 1600 isn't that bad. So we're going to move this over here, just make sure we've cropped out her head, and we'll click the done button. So now we're ready to add a second photo. Now there are many ways you can do this. You can go up here and tap that button. You can add another picture. But what I like to do is I'm going to create another layer. This is great with this app. You get to use layers. And if you're familiar with Photoshop, layers shouldn't be a problem for you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create another layer. And this one I want to be a photo layer. So what it's going to do is bring up this. We're going to go into Photoshop. I'm going to find a picture of my wife and myself that I want to add into this one. And there we go. There is our picture. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to tap done. You can see that it's put it over top of the picture right there. But the thing we have to do here is we have to start cropping it out. Obviously, we want to add ourselves to this background right here. What I did there was I simply tapped the little white button, and that's going to hide that layer. So what we want to do is we want to add that picture into there. So we'll bring this picture back, and we're going to actually just hide that background. So now this is where the fun begins. You got your tools over here. You've got all sorts. So what you want to do is you want to slide all the way down to this one. And you're going to want to pick the Scribble Selection tool. Now, first things first, you tap the Keep button. Now what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to highlight over the areas that you want to keep. Now, you just have to do an outline. Now, what you can do here as well in this app is you can pinch and zoom. You can zoom in, as you can see, you can go all the way up to 400 and all the way down to 25%. So when we're doing this, we want to have it big enough so that we can see a lot of what we're going to be outlining, but not too much so that it's out of the screen. So what you do, as I mentioned, you hit the Keep button. Now we're going to trace around the areas that we want to keep in. This is going to add a green line around it. So we want my wife's hair. We want to go around there, through. I want to keep my face. Now this doesn't have to be that precise. You just want a basic outline of what you're trying to keep in, and I'll show you why in a little bit here. So I want that part kept. I also want in here, if I pinch and zoom in, we've got my wife's hair right there. So I also want to keep this part in as well. Okay, so we're going to pinch and zoom back out. Now that we're happy with what we have that we want to keep in, we go to the part we want to remove. Now again, this part, you're just tracing outside, around. So we're going to be trying to cut out all that stuff. We're going to go trace around me. Again, you don't have to be that precise. The more precise you are, the better. So when that's done, it's going to start rendering. And you can see it's put the outline around you. You can see it's keeping that portion in. And there are some areas where it needs some fixing. So again, we can go zoom in. Now we just tap. This is the remove portion. So I'm just going to draw a line right around like this to make it a little more detailed. And as you can see, it did a really nice job there. Now, one thing I don't like about this app is when you're moving around within the picture, you have to pinch and zoom. If you just swipe your finger across, it's going to draw that line. Okay, so we're going to go over here. And right in here, we want this part taken out. So again, we're going to draw a line in there, that portion we want out. Again, it renders it on the fly. Now see, there it caused some problems. See, if we leave it like this, it's going to be taking out a lot of the picture. We don't want that. So we got to go in here again and fix it. So we're going to try that. And actually what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to switch to keep. That'll make it a little bit better. And we're going to go right along her neckline here, and we want that to be kept in. And hopefully that will fix up the area. So you can see that now it's taking that part out. If we pinch out and zoom, we've got a nice little contour around. Now, of course, there are little areas around here, but for the sake of this video, we're just going to go with it like this. So now we're going to do some refining to this. We can go up to this right here, and we're going to go and we're going to refine the edges. Now, what this will do is it'll bring up all the spots. The red is where it's being taken out. So whatever in color left is staying in, and whatever in red is being taken out. Now, what you can do here is you can take your brush, and you can go over the hairline, just like so. It doesn't have to be perfect, even the shoulder and the clothing. Now what that's going to do is make even a more fine edit, so it's not going to look as harsh when we put it into a picture. So that looks pretty good there. We got some spots here right around the hair. You can also erase portions. I'm going to go right along here and hopefully be able to Add in some of the hair. Excellent. That looks a lot better. Go through there. Again, it's not going to look as harsh. Again, for the sake of this video, I'm not going to be too precise, but you can get really, really precise with this. I'm just going to go along my ear line here, my hair, just so that it looks a lot better. And there we go. I think I'm pretty happy with that. So we're going to hit OK. And it's going to bring us back to our original screen here. And you can see we've got our outline. So once we're happy with what we're selecting and what we're taking out, you simply go up to the top here, you hit extract, and now what this is doing is it's taking it all out. So now what you can do is you can go up to there. We don't want those edges anymore. So now you hit deselect. So there you go. There's your picture with that background taking out. Now we want to add this background onto this one. Now, say you had your background up there and you went and tapped it, show it. Oh, look, the picture's not over top. So what you want to make sure you're doing is the picture you want to add on top, you want to make sure that the background is underneath. So there you go. Now we've been added. Now the scale doesn't look exactly right, and you can see there is some gray tinging around there. Again, you can be a lot more precise than what I did, but we can scale ourselves down. Oops. We want to make sure that we're just selecting this one, that layer. So now we hit that, and we can size ourselves down. Now see, when we move ourselves into the castle right there, it does take away a lot of that ghosting. So we'll just make myself look a little bit bigger, more proportionate of how it would probably look as if we took the picture right there. And you know what? I'm pretty happy with that. That looks pretty darn good. So there you go. There's a picture I've taken. You can hide your palettes right there. You can actually go hit up there and that'll give you the picture. And you can, as you see, we've combined those two pictures. And the detail looks pretty good. You still got the hair outline, the clothes outline. And again, there are some areas in here that don't look all that great. Again, you can get a lot more precise. Again, this is just a very quick tutorial showing you what this app is capable of. But I've combined two pictures. So once you're done with your pictures, what you can do, let's go back. We can hit the arrow button right up there. Now we'll go hit save. And this begins the saving process. Now what this is going to do is it's going to save it within the app. Now from here, what you can do is you can hit the button right up there. That should look familiar. You can save it to your camera roll. You can share it on Facebook. You can email it, or you can print it as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to save this into our camera roll. We're going to save it. We can either save it as a JPEG or a PNG file. We're going to choose JPEG. We go and select the one. And now we hit OK, and now that's publishing it to our camera roll. It's also still right there. I've created a folder here. You can do that by creating a folder right there. Now what I want to do is I want to move that project into the folder. So I tap that. We go tap the picture, hit OK. Now we're going to tap on the test right there. We're going to move it, and we're going to, I should point out, don't move it. What you want to do is you want to name it. So you're going to double tap the name right there. We're going to call this Wizarding World of Harry Potter. And now what we're going to do is go to the folder, move project, tap on it, hit OK. We're going to move it into the test folder. Yes, confirm. And now that's moving it in there. If we go click on the test folder, as you can see, there's the picture we just did, all edited up. So the next really fun feature I want to show you with Adobe Photoshop Touch is the camera fill one. Now this can be really fun. You can do a lot of crazy things with this. But what you want to do is you want to create a new project. So we're going to hit the plus button this time. It's going to give you a canvas width, height. You can change that up. We're just going to hit OK. So now what we want to do is we want to bring in a picture. So let's create another layer here. Let's create a photo layer. So we're going to go into our Photoshop one again. I want this Apple logo. So there we go. We've got our Apple logo. We can size it, of course, if we want. But for this case, we're just going to hit done. So I just want the logo itself. So again, it's the same process as before. We're going to go to the scribble selection tool. I'm going to zoom in here. We're going to start with the keep. We're going to go around the edges of the Apple logo. We're going to keep this in just like that. And of course, we want that portion as well. Now we're going to go to remove. We're going to go through and we're just going to go outline. And there we go. It's going to do its magic. And it looks pretty good. Again, we can go and touch it up if we really want to. We're going to zoom back out here so we have the full canvas. We're going to go up to the top here. Oh, wrong one. We're going to go up to this one and we're going to hit the extract button. So there we go. Now we have our Apple logo right there and we have this big empty space right there. So what are we going to do with that big empty space? Well, I'm going to go down to this layer right here. Oh, first of all, I should point out you're going to want to deselect. Very, very important. You want the Apple logo to be deselected. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go to this layer and we're going to go up to the ampersand here and we're going to go add camera fill. So now what this is going to do is, as you can see, it's using my iPad's 2 camera. I can switch it around right there. I can use the back of the camera if I want. We'll just do a quick switch right there. And now it's showing you what's behind. As you can see, it's my MacBook Pro recording this right now. So we'll go back to the front. So now we're back at the front. Now what I'm going to do here is this is going to be a little bit difficult. I'm going to have to reset the shot here, but I'm going to put myself in this picture. So just give me 1 second here. All right, so I've repositioned it here. It's quite difficult. So I'm going to want to have myself in this picture with the Apple logo, and we're going to do some things with it, but I want myself in it. So here we go. We're going to tap the little camera button down here when we're ready. And we can retake it or we can keep it. We're going to keep this one. So now I'm going to reposition the camera here. So there we go. Now we have a picture of myself along with the Apple logo. Now we can start doing some edits, changing things around. The first thing I'm going to want to do is I'm going to want to move the Apple logo. So we're going to go click on that layer right there. We're going to go click this button again, and we're going to just move it around. We'll put it, yeah, you know what? We'll put it right there. That looks good. Do I want a little bit bigger? Sure, why not? And we'll just leave, oh, I got an idea. Let's make it a little bit smaller, and we'll leave it right there. So when we're happy with it, we just click done. So we're going to add some text to this. We're going to add it onto this layer, the picture of me. So we're going to go up here. We're going to go add text. Now this is some text I've already been using when I've been fooling around with the app. So what you want to do is you go down here to the left-hand side, and there you go. It brings it up, and you can change your text. So I'm going to type in, let's go, thinking different. And we'll put an exclamation mark. Hit done. So there we go. There's our text right there. We can move it around, of course, just like you would in Photoshop. Here we go. We're going to make it smaller so that it fits. I'm going to put it right there. Now here you can change, of course. You've got your different colors. You got all the different colors. Let's see if the blue will actually work out well. Nah, you know what? It's kind of harsh. Maybe let's just go back to the white. The white looked really good. We're happy with that. I mean, again, there's all sorts of different changes you can make to the text and such. Okay, we're happy with it. So when you're happy with that, you just click the little button there. And now we can even do some more effects to this. We can go up to the effects button. We can add a glow to that if you'd like, a nice blue glow or red, or again, you can add any different kind of color. Okay, yeah, you know what, I kind of like that. We can go up there. I want a drop shadow. I want to add a little bit more depth to it. Okay, sure, that looks good. So as you can see, this could be a lot of fun to use. There's lots of different applications for this. I know if you go back into here, yeah, we'll save this one as well. If we go back into the tutorial section here, they have a create camera layers, and they have you're adding yourself in with this pirate hat. So there are plenty of fun little things you can do. Of course, you can do it like I showed you in the very first one. You can add 2 pictures together that way, but this just gives you another way to combine some pictures and really have a lot of fun with your photography and your pictures and such. And that's really what this app's all about, is having fun, getting really creative. Of course, The amateur will find this fun to use, and I'm sure there are professionals that will find this very useful to use too. As I showed you, it can be a very powerful tool. You can do a lot of fine edits and really do things on the fly. You don't have to bring your laptop all the time. And with the Adobe service there, the cloud kind of service, of course, you can do some edits on your iPad or your tablet, and then you can beam it right onto your computer so you can finish working on it, do even more touch-ups on your computer with your Photoshop application. So Adobe Photoshop Touch, I believe, is a really, really powerful photography editing app. And for $10, I mean, you're getting a lot of functionality here. The ability to combine the pictures and refine it, and with the nice edits and such, and even the fill camera. Adobe's really set itself apart with this one. And for $10, I think it's well worth it. And this really goes to show what's capable with the iPad and even other tablets. Adobe Photoshop Touch, well worth it if you're into editing photos and you really just want to have some fun messing around with some pictures and some different cool ideas. For more daily iPad and iPhone news, make sure you check out iPad in Canada and iPhoneincanada.ca. I'm Chris with iPad in Canada. Thanks for watching.